canal Mestres da Resolução.
E aí pessoal, seja bem-vindo ao meu canal Mestres da Resolução. Bom, aqui é o professor Foda HD, como vocês já sabem, né? Neste exato momento eu me encontro aqui na faculdade. Bom, aqui hoje tenho algo para vos contar. Bom, hoje eu terei uma defesa, é isso aí mesmo. Só que há um problema aqui, essa defesa que eu terei de inglês. Não é de química nem biologia, é de inglês. Bom, agora se você está curioso em saber se o mestre da resolução, se o Foda HD sabe falar inglês, é só ficar ligado neste vídeo, porque neste vídeo eu vou mostrar a minha defesa de uma forma bem resumida, né? Para nós ver até que nível que o mestre da química e biologia entende o inglês. Então, se você está se preparando para o exame de admissão, não pense que aqui apenas vai encontrar química, biologia e outras cadeiras como anatomia, histologia, fisiologia e está relacionado à saúde, não. Aqui também você vai encontrar inglês. Então, se você não sabe falar inglês, é melhor aproveitar agora, começar a ler, começar a aprender, porque você vai ter uma cadeira de inglês. Então, você deve estar preparado, né? Agora eu já me preparei, né? Você sabe como que já me concentrei e já estou a ir na sala de aula para poder apresentar a minha defesa. Então, se você gostar da defesa, é só deixar lá teu like, teu comentário, né? Comenta alguma coisa se o professor Foda HD sabe falar inglês. Então, deixa aí tua nota de 0 a 10. Qual é a nota que você vai me dar, né? Olhando naquilo que é o inglês que eu vou falar durante a minha defesa. Então, fica atento. E depois vou deixar um vídeo no final a falar como foi a minha defesa.
My name is Ford Matthew. I am one of the members of the 6th group, and today we are going to talk about an interesting topic. So, colleague, you can put next. Today we are going to talk about the prior reading knowledge. As you can see here, our topic. But before I give a definition about what is the prior knowledge, I am going to give an example of something that happened with most of the students in the university or college. Most of the students, when they are at home, sometimes they prepare themselves to do a certain test. They try to solve many exercises, trying to prepare themselves to do a test. But in the moment that they are going to do that test, sometimes they forget something that they read at home. So if you want to come better in this situation, you can use one of the techniques that I'm going to give you, and also you can use this topic, prior reading knowledge, to improve your capacity to understand something. So here we are, prior reading knowledge. So right now we are going to see a definition about prior reading knowledge. So as we can see, prior reading knowledge is what we already know before reading. So let's imagine that you want to read a certain book. So you can use this prior reading knowledge. Prior reading knowledge is something that you already know before you read a certain book. Let's imagine that you want to read a book talking about the genital diseases. You can try to connect it to use an experience that you had in the past, so that you can have idea what this text is going to talk about. So it's what we call prior reading knowledge. As also we can see, it can be experience that you had in your life. It can be something that you have read in the past. You can try to use that information that you have read in the past to connect with what you want to read in that exactly moment. So as you can see, it acts as a foundation, helping us to understand new information. So it is meaning that if we use prior reading knowledge, it is going to be like a foundation, because we know if you want to be a better or a great man in life, you must have a foundation. It's the same thing that you can use in reading. So if you use this technique of prior reading knowledge, you are going to build your foundation so that it's going to be easier the time that you are going to read, because you have a good and a strong foundation. As you can see, achieving this knowledge is like a mental warm-up, preparing the mind for new content. So to prepare your mind using this prior reading knowledge is like to warm up your mind. As you can see here, we have one picture, but this picture is trying to say different two situations. Here, as you can see here, we have a man. If you look in this man, we can see that he is a strong man. He has some muscles, but if you see in his hands, you can see that he is holding some weight and he is strong. So what can I say? This man, to become strong, the first thing that he must do is to lift some weights, is to warm up his body. This is the condition that he has to be strong. So the same thing it happened with this boy that you can see here. this boy, he is trying to read something, but before he reads that thing, he is trying to warm up his mind so that he can have some ideas in what he is going to talk about. So here we can see men warm up before reading. So this is very important. Before you read a certain book or a textbook, the first thing you must do, you must warm up your mind. Okay, as you can see here, we have techniques to active prior knowledge. So here I'm going to talk about techniques that you can use so that you can improve more your prior reading knowledge. If you go to the internet right now, you are going to see many techniques, but I only came here and I brought 3 techniques that I saw that they were very interesting. So here, as you can see, methods or strategies used to prepare your mind by recalling what you already know before reading a test. So as you can see here, we have 3 techniques that you can use them so that you can improve your prior reading knowledge. We have the first technique that is called brainstorming. It's the first technique that you can use. We also have the second technique that is to connect with similar experience. We also have the third technique that is make prediction. So right now I am going to talk about each technique in details. Okay, as you can see here, we have brainstorming. If you go to the internet, you're going to see a big definition about what is brainstorming. But I just came here and I just gave you a shortcut, a short definition of what is brainstorming. As you can see, brainstorming, ask yourself some question. So, brainstorming is to ask yourself some question before you read a certain book. As you can see here, organize your thoughts and recall prior knowledge. Okay. Let's imagine that you want to read a certain book. Here I am going to give an example about natural disasters. This example I think that is not connected to our course. But why am I doing that? I'm doing that because there is a colleague that he is going to come here and he is going to explain and give some examples looking in our course. So here the example that I use is natural disasters. So let's imagine you went to the library and you want to read a certain book talking about natural disasters. So what are the questions that you can give yourself? Here we have some more examples of those questions that you can give yourself. The first question, what are natural disasters? Before you read that book, you can give that question, what are natural disasters? You can try to answer that question using some knowledge that you have in the past. You can try to do that. This is one of the questions that you can give yourself. But we also have another question, what do I already know about them? So you can try to connect with the past experience that you had about the natural disaster. You can try to connect and try to answer this question. What do you know about those natural disasters? So another technique, the second technique that you can use, that is to connect with the similar experience. As you can see, link the topic to personal experience or familiar situation. So if you want to read a certain book, let's imagine that is about the natural disaster, you can try to connect that topic that you want to read with some experience that you have in your life, or it can be experience of someone in your life. It can be your mother, your uncle, your grandfather, it can be your friend, it can also be your girlfriend. You can try to connect the experience that person had about the natural disaster to what you want to read. As you can see, here we also have some questions. Have you watched a movie or a TV show about natural disaster? So let's imagine that you didn't live a natural disaster. You can try to connect with what you have watched in television or even what you have seen in some news. You can try to take that information and to try to connect it in what you want to read. Besides that, we also have this question. Did you see news reports, read a book about it? What do you remember? Let's imagine in some years ago, you read a book talking about natural disaster. You can try to connect what you read, if you still remember, to what you want to read in that moment. Knowledge. Okay? There is no time, so I'm going to let my colleague to come and continue.
Bom, pessoal, já saí da minha defesa de inglês, né? Já defendi como vocês viram. Agora é só vocês deixaram nos comentários o que vocês acharam. Na verdade, o docente gostou, né? Inclusive outros colegas. Então, vocês deixem nos comentários qual é a nota que você achou que eu bati depois desta apresentação. Deixar nos comentários. Agora, se você está curioso em saber esta nota, quer saber, bati quanto? Repreendeu um 18 essa defesa. Então é isso aí, pessoal. Você não pode se limitar a aprender apenas química, biologia. aprenda outras línguas, aprenda a falar o inglês, aprenda a falar francês, aprenda a falar mandarim, várias outras línguas, né? Porque você não sabe, mano, você pode ganhar bolsa de estudo para a América. Como que você vai se comunicar com os americanos? Como que você vai estudar lá, uma vez que não sabe falar inglês? Então é muito importante aprender novas línguas. Então é exatamente isso, pessoal. Tchau, até o próximo vídeo.